Starting now. This is Real People. Real issues. Real news. Real people.
I'm Stephanie Allensworth, and this is Real People.
This is Real People.
Hi, welcome to Real People. I'm Stephanie Allensworth. Today my guest is Toni Greene. She is a psychic, medium, and channel out of Milwaukee or West Allis, Wisconsin, who also shoots a show out of Sheboygan. Welcome, Toni. I have you here via Skype.
Hi, Stephanie. How are you today?
I'm good, thank you. Yeah,
so thank you so much for having me.
Oh, absolutely. You know, from the first time I met you at the awards show, I knew that I had to have you on the show as a guest. So I'm honored to have you here.
Honored to be on, for sure, for sure.
Yeah. So let's hear a little bit about Toni's life. You know, we know that you worked as a model for a while, and you're a psychic and a medium, and you also did hypnosis. And you have your own show too and podcast. So let's handle these one at a time here. I'm very curious about the young Toni. Let me know how you came into your psychic abilities.
So interestingly, I've had them all of my life, and I like to call myself a channel, but nobody really knows what a channel is because everybody uses the term psychic medium. And a channel, basically when people are talking to me, they're asking me questions, they're discussing their life, information comes through me for them. 9 times out of 10, I don't know what's going to come flying out of my mouth. That's always fun. Always fun. But I wasn't aware I was channeling until about 10 years ago. Even though I've done it all of my life, I never really paid attention to it. I didn't grow up in a home where, you know, people would say, oh, that's a psychic, or we're going here. None of that stuff was really, it wasn't talked about. It wasn't poo-pooed. But I mean, I remember my mom saying in one house, oh, there's ghosts in this house. Just leave them alone and they'll leave you alone. That was the extent of the conversation of the ghosts in the house.
Huh.
That was it.
Interesting.
Like, okay. And I just remember thinking, still to this day, what does it mean there's a ghost in the house? Leave them alone. It's not like I'm going to ask them to come play with me.
Well, I think some people actually do, though. Some people do, you know, especially children.
Yes.
That's when they think they have an imaginary friend, or the parents think they have an imaginary friend,
yes.
because you're sitting there having a tea party with somebody and talking to somebody that's not there. It's like, oh, isn't that cute? You know, they've got an imaginary friend when somebody that's very real to the child. So I think children have a tendency to keep their abilities alive for a long time until I think we get it worn out of us or something, like educated out of us. You know?
When we get scared.
Scared? Is that what happened to you?
Usually as children, and people who come to me to have me help them open their abilities again will go back to a time when they were scared, and that's when it shut down. They saw something they didn't like, They saw or heard something that terrified them, and they shut it down. And that was it. So overcoming that fear and feeling safe will reopen it again.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It never leaves us. It's always with us.
Right, right. Yeah, I guess I've always heard that it was something to do with, you know, the education system and our households, you know, saying that that's bad and don't talk to yourself and don't talk like that. That's not real. You're making it up. And so children just tend to shut it down because they're...
And that probably is part of it too, because people will say, oh, now she's going to school. We can't have her talking about an imaginary friend. We can't have her. So that probably is a big part of it also.
Yeah. Wow. So when did you actually start coming out as a psychic and really working with people? Well, I think it was as a hypnotist first, wasn't it?
Yes. So I became a hypnotist, and during that time, what I'd be doing hypnosis on people, and then before and or after the session, all this information would come out for them about their life. Oh, you need to do this. It's time for you to do that, so on and so forth. So then once they have their hypnosis session, they'd call back and schedule another session and say, I want to come back and ask you some questions. I'm like, okay, sure. And that's how I realized, like, oh, this could actually, like, people want these answers. This could actually work for part of my business. But I realized, I think that's when I started advertising it and making it into part of my business. And I didn't even think it would be that big of a part of my business. But now the hypnosis is almost non-existent. And that's pretty much my whole business, is the channeling and the psychic abilities. Nobody, like, once in a while I'll get a hypnosis client now, but everybody just wants to know what's going on in their life. Are they making the right choices? They want to connect with loved ones on the other side. So yeah. It's awesome.
So did you or can you still do things like help people quit smoking or drinking or gambling or any of these things that they want to, addictions or whatever that people are trying to kick, that are having a hard time? Does hypnosis actually help with that? Have you observed that?
Absolutely. I have people that I help quit smoking, like in '08, that still don't smoke. And they've quit. Anxiety is really huge right now. So a lot of people come in for anxiety, weight loss, quitting smoking, all of those things. Absolutely. Hypnosis is amazing for each and every one of those. Yeah.
Wow. I might need to have a little session with you there.
Yes.
Yes.
It might be fun.
I think we named a few of the things I'm interested in.
Wow. No, I'm kidding. What can we do? No.
You got to fix me up a little.
Nobody comes to me for hypnosis.
And if messages happen to come through, hey, those are welcome too.
Hey, there we go. There we go.
So when I met you, we were at an awards show, and in Wisconsin Dells for the Best of the Midwest awards, media awards, and you were there getting an award too. And tell us a little bit about that.
So I have 2 shows, Create a Life You Love and Psychic Medium Toni G. And I submitted Psychic Medium Toni G thinking it would never get an award. I just thought, I'm just going to submit it anyway, and I'm not going to be attached to the outcome of this. And I was so pleasantly surprised when it did get an award. So I was very, very happy about that. But both shows air on WSCS Sheboygan, which I'm pretty grateful for. It's a great station with amazing people. And I think I always tell everybody, the award has nothing to do with me. It's the content, it's the editing, it's everybody that's doing everything behind the scenes.
It takes a village, right?
Award comes, so yeah.
Yeah, it takes a village. You can't produce a show just by yourself. I guess you can. You just put the camera up there and sit and talk to it, but I'm not sure that'll be award-winning. So congratulations, though, Toni. Congratulations on that.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome. And now you're a writer, too. You're a published writer. How many books do you have?
6.
6. Okay, and you have the latest one out?
I've channeled 6 books, so I sit down and information starts to come through me, and I just write it down and then put it on pages and hope it gets into the right hands. So my latest book, as I try to reach back inconspicuously, is What If? A Transformational Journey, a transformational guide. I should get the name right because, well, I titled the book.
Yeah.
But this is such an amazing, I absolutely love this book because it asks all those what if questions that are just phenomenal. So It looks like it's a really big book, but it's really not, because what it does is it asks a question and then it gives you space to present your answer. So this
Okay.
question in particular is, what if your beliefs are what happens in your world? Not the world isn't happening, but your beliefs are making the world happen the way it does. And therefore, if you change your beliefs, then wouldn't your world change at the same time?
Yes.
So you don't have to believe that, but if you, the idea behind this book is, I'm not here to change anybody, right? That's not my job. But if you did believe that, how would your life be different? What would change in your life?
So it enables a little self-discovery. Is that was that fair to say?
Yeah,
So by
hopefully a
people
lot of
reading these questions and answering them helps them internalize them and maybe change their ways and start to believe that yes, if you do change the way you think and your thoughts, you do change yourself and your world around you.
Yeah,
Don't you believe that? I
yeah.
believe that.
And fascinatingly, the way this book came about is because so many of my clients would come in and they'd have these questions and they would say, but what if? And it was always like a negative outcome. And I said, but what if it goes the complete opposite way? What if he's the one?
Yeah.
What if you're supposed to be with him for just 6 months? What if it's, what if it works out? What if this is a good job? What if you have to leave what you don't want to get what you do want? So all of those are, and many, many more, are in this book. And I always tell people, the first time you go through, have a notebook. The second time you go through, write it in the book and look at the progression. Because an open mind and understanding is key to the evolutionary process on this planet. Ooh, somebody's channeling. I'm using big words now. I'm sorry. The key to progressing and to making your life what you really want it to be and getting into that space where everything happens automatically without you. There's you can think about something and will it into being, or before you even think about it, it's appearing right before you because you're that in alignment with divine order. When you have complete understanding and you're in that place where everything is falling into place, that's divinity, that's magic, that's creating miracles. And the more you understand, the more you open your mind, the more that process can happen for each and every person. But as long as we're limited or being fear-based or working from those thoughts of this could go wrong. But of course it could, but maybe it going wrong isn't even it going wrong. Maybe that's it going right to make a course correction and put you back on the path that you're supposed to be on.
Right.
I mean, there's always 100 different ways to look at the same scenario. And if we're just opening our mind and bringing in that pure understanding, a more open thought process of how the world could be and what that means for you, everything will fall into place. And hopefully that's what this book will help people do. I truly hope so.
And what are some of your other books?
Let me inconspicuously reach back my second. This was my 5th book, and it's called Channeled Messages from Above. And this book is messages of love, light, and inspiration. This book is just poems and messages that came through from above that are like, even I channeled them, so I don't try to take credit. But when I go back and read them, I'm like, oh my God, that's so good. Not because I wrote it, but because it did come from above. So when I read it, it's like I'm reading it for the first time. It's not like I'm rereading my work. But this one I love for anybody who is looking for inspiration in any way in their life. And just wanting to have those words of love come to that. And many of these poems are about fear and anxiety also. And
Oh,
just
okay.
letting go of fear, because
Right.
there's one thing in this world. Everybody thinks there's duality. There really isn't duality. We believe there's duality, but that's a false belief. There's only love. We come from love, we return to love. Everything is based in love. If we can stay in that place where we know everything is love and we're working from that, then you understand there is no duality, there is no fear. Fear is the absence of love. And in that moment that you can go into that meditation or that thought process that totally brings in love. And you have the knowing that no matter what happens, you're surrounded by angels and light, and everything is exactly the way it's supposed to be. In that moment, that is how you're supposed to be in every moment, with that knowing. And if you
Yeah.
can stay there for extended periods of time, again, you hit that divinity where you're not going with the flow, you are now the flow, and you are creating the flow.
Wow, Toni, that is beautiful and profound. And I think we need to put up billboards because the world is in a place right now where I think we've forgotten all that. And, the greed has taken over and the power has taken over and leaving so many people, in just pitiful places but still, those words that you just said can empower somebody to lift themselves back up and
And
and not expect somebody to do it for them, because it all
well,
comes from you, right?
yeah, one of the things that people forget, there's so much of everything. So even if there is somebody greedy or harboring power, whatever they're doing, that doesn't have to touch you. Let them be greedy or whatever you want to call that. That's just, it is what it is. That is that person. They're here to show you something about yourself, either that you are um, afraid to become that person or whatever it is. They're there to show you something about yourself. But the bottom line is, there is so much of everything on this plane. It's never ending. I mean, they don't make one Mercedes. They don't even make one Bugatti. I didn't even know what a Bugatti was until I listened to a rap song. But it's so exclusive. But they don't only make one. They're not like, we're only going to make one of these cars, so only one person can have it. No, there's so much excess of money and gold and even love. There's so much, but what creates the tendency to be in that place where you're thinking there's greed is the fact that you think that there might not be enough because somebody else is taking it all or somebody else is having it all. But if we get into that place where they have theirs and I'm grateful for them, no matter how they behave or how they got that, then you can be in that place where you can then enjoy however much comes to you.
Oh.
It's always an amazing concept to me that people are in a place where they think somebody has too much and they don't have enough. So there's again the duality.
Yeah.
So if you go into this place where you say, they have this much, you know what? I've just been shown a perfect example of what's capable. I don't have to get it the way they got it. I don't have to go down that road to achieve that level. I can go down this road and get to even a higher level, and I can achieve more and I can do better with it or not. I can do whatever I want with it. But anytime we look at something with a disdained eye, that inhibits our growth and our ability to accomplish what we want to the level that we want to achieve. So if we want to achieve on higher levels, we have to look at those people that are on very high levels and say, they laid out a road. They showed me a path. They showed me this is the minimum of what's possible for each and every one of us here. And in showing me that, now, let me dig in, let me get to work, and let me show them now that they can do even more. Because this is a plane of creation and beauty, and we are, make no mistake, we are here to create, and not from fear and falseness. We are here to create abundance and love and whatever it is we want. Not necessarily for us. Yes, it's nice for us to have that, but for those who are going to look at us in the coming days, months, years, to say, okay, if she did that, if she created this amazing existence, I too can do that. That's my light. I'm heading toward that light. I'm going to be even brighter than that light. And then we applaud them and we say, I want you to be brighter than my light. I want you to shine more brightly than me. I will help you shine more brightly than me, because once you do, then you're going to help me climb too. Aww. Together we can do this. It's not about having that duality. Mm-hmm. There's only oneness in all of this, all of it.
Wow. Yeah, you know what that is? I wish I could bottle you and and sell you on the street, because that's wonderful. So now I want to ask you, do you have any idea when you're channeling who it is, if it's one specific source that's channeling, or do you get a multitude of different?
It's a group. It's a group that I channel. And I don't, it's gonna sound so funny when I say this. I never say their name. Yeah. I know their name. Oh, okay. I know the group I channel, but I never say their name, because the moment that I say the name, the title of the group, everybody is focused on that. Yeah. Rather than the messages. And right. And I've learned this because I have said it in the past, and right away everybody refocused all of their thinking. Now it's beautiful to be able to channel, and it is such an amazing, beautiful thing, and I'm so grateful for the blessing of it. But each and every one of us is capable of channeling any messages that we want of love and light to this whole universe. We need but surrender the ego and allow ourselves to let that light in and speak through us.
So when you just channeling there, because you have your eyes shut when you're talking, and it makes me think you're channeling messages right now. I am.
Yes. Okay. So I always say Toni has a kindergarten vocabulary with a first grade, spelling. Or I always make a joke about it. When I'm talking, I am trying to make jokes. My voice changes, but when I'm channeling, literally, the color of my eyes change. My tone changes. Mm-hmm. I'll start by closing my eyes, because if I'm looking at someone, I might get a little bit nervous. But then when I close my eyes and I allow them to come through me and I allow them to talk, it's very fluid and it's very, very eloquent. And they'll give you the exact messages that you need. For example, my dear one, don't stop. You're on the right path. You need to charge forward with fullness. Don't let little indiscriminate things get in the way of your final goal. Keep your eye on your prize, and do not falter. You're on the right track.
Is that for me particularly?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. 100%.
Oh, yeah, wow. 100. Thank you. That's a question I've been pondering myself. So obviously they knew that.
And clearly they knew, because they brought it for you. Yeah. Clearly, yes. No, they are saying you are on the right track. Do not stop. You might need to reevaluate a venue, so to say, but you are on the right track. Keep going. Everything is going to fall into place. If you lay down the bricks, we will make the road, and we will make it beautifully for you. Oh, make no mistake.
I thank you. I needed to hear that.
And it is absolutely their pleasure to bring that to you. They're absolutely their pleasure and their honor to be able to do that.
Oh, well, that's
Yeah.
awesome. Well, we're kind of ticking down a little bit here. We're down to about a minute and 20. So, is there anything that you want to share with us, like your website and how to contact you?
Yeah. Toni, TONIG .info. So ToniG.info. I thought I was really clever when I made that, like information. It was not.
Well, it
And
works.
yeah, that's if people go to my website, they can get all kinds of information on me and what I do and how I work and my phone number, and they can reach out to me. It's been such an honor and such a pleasure just to be in this space with you. I love you. They love you.
I love you, and thank you so
We
much.
love
I mean,
you.
I'm not
We love
done
you
quite
so
yet,
much.
but
Keep going. Don't stop.
Yeah.
Don't stop.
Well, I
Keep
love
going.
that message, and I am going to keep going because I won't stop.
No,
I don't know how to stop.
It
Just
would
ask my
be,
husband.
it would alter your future.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I don't want to. I feel like I'm on the right track. So I am
You are.
in the path. And gosh, thank you so much, honey. Thank you so much for being on the show. Thank you for being the bright, bright light that you are and channeling the way that you do and delivering your messages. And with that, thank you for watching today, and we'll see you next time on Real People. Bye now. Yay, Toni! Thank you again. Don't forget to like us on Facebook, and you can follow us on Twitter. We're also streaming on YouTube, so check us out there. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button. It's free.